Hello everyone, welcome to the Learn with Sandra show channel. My name is Alexandra and it's so good to have you all back on this channel today. So today we are going to be tackling the JAMB past question for the subject English language year 2024, and we'll be tackling questions 63 to 86. So stay with me and I'll be right back. Question 63. So choose the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letters underlined. The word is bathe. Okay. Letter A is underlined and it is pronounced as A. Okay. So A is a diphthong. Okay. So there are 8 diphthongs in the English language. We have I, A, O, ow, oi, ear, air, oi. Okay. So there are 8. Okay. So option A, we have rake. Okay. Letter A in rake is also pronounced as A. Okay, so there are more examples: say, day, pay, fake, cake, make, rain, so on and so forth. Okay, so option B we have tear. Okay, so it has the diphthong A. Okay, so option C we have bath. Okay, so the vowel sound there is a long vowel sound. It's not a diphthong, it's R. So we have bath. Okay, so bath is different from bathe. Okay, so bathe is a verb. Bath is a noun. For example, I had a clean bath this morning. That's a noun. But for a verb, you can say he bathed his wound with clean water. Okay. So option D, we have care. So what we have there is also a diphthong, that is air. Okay, care. So the best answer to this question is definitely option A, rake. Right. So the word is youth and OU is underlined. It is pronounced as oo sound. It's a long vowel sound. Now, the English alphabet has 26 letters. We have 5 vowel letters plus 21 consonant letters, making 26 letters altogether. Right. Now, out of the 5 letters, phoneticians derived 20 vowel sounds. You can see the difference. 5 letters, but then you brought out, 20 vowel sounds. Okay, it's a lot. Okay, so the 20 vowel sounds are divided into 2. We have monophthongs and diphthongs. Okay, so we have 8 diphthongs and 12 monophthongs. What are monophthongs? Single sound. What are diphthongs? Double sounds. But they are double sounds that come together to make one sound. Okay, out of the 12 monophthongs, they are further divided into 2. We have the short and the long. The short ones are 7, while the long ones are 5. So out of the 5 long sounds, we have oo in the word youth. Okay, so option A we have the short vowel sound should. Option B we have about. Now about as a diphthong, ow. Okay, so whenever you see a plus oo together, it's a diphthong. Don't separate it. Okay, do not mistake it for monophthong. Okay, so option C we have choose. So letter O is pronounced as oo sound, the long sound, right? Option B we have butcher. So letter U in butcher is the short sound. Okay. So judging from the options, right, I can tell that it's a test on how you are able to differentiate between the long and the short sound, right? Oo and oo, right? And this can be very, very tricky because FOOL is the long sound, fool. POOL is the long sound, pool, right? COOL, cool, is the long sound. WOO, woo, is the long sound. So you can easily assume that every time you see double O, right, it is the long sound. And you're wrong because LOOK is the short sound. Look, WOOD is the short sound, would. Okay, so one thing I know for sure is should, could, would are short sounds, right? PULL is the short sound. FULL is also the short U sound. So the best answer to this question is definitely option C, choose. Question 65. So choose the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letters underlined. Now the word is boy. Okay, UOY is underlined and it is pronounced as oi. So oi is a diphthong, and do not forget we have 8 diphthongs in the English language. Okay, so oi is one of them. It's a combination of o and e, oi. So when you think of diphthongs, you can have a mental picture of it being 2 sounds, double sounds rather, okay? But then in actual sense, it is 1 sound. Now let's think of it this way. The figure 2 is a combination of 1 and 1, but we don't go about saying double 1. We say 2 is a figure, right? Bring that same concept to diphthongs, okay? For example, this diphthong is a combination of O and E, right? Double sounds, but we call it a sound. Okay, so I'm explaining this so that you understand the theoretical aspect of diphthongs, okay? So that when people say double sound, you understand what they are saying, and when they say it's a single sound, you also understand what they are saying. So the answer to this question is option A, B-O-Y, boy. It has the same pronunciation, right? As you can see. Okay, so what's the meaning or what's the difference? So B-U-O-Y is a floating device, right? It is used to mark a location on the sea, right? Just to warn us against hazard. Okay, this location is hazardous, okay? That is boy. It's also used as a verb to keep afloat, and in some cases, in some contexts, I've seen it to mean emotional support, wanting to make someone happier or make someone more confident about a situation, right? It's also used in that context. Why boy, boy is a male child, right? So option B, we have trough. Okay, option C, we have root. Okay, so I've heard so many Nigerians say route, and it's not that it is wrong. Okay, it's just the American way of pronouncing it. Okay, Nigerians were colonized by the British, and so we speak the British English, so it is root. And you might be wondering, is it the same pronunciation with root? Yes, the same pronunciation, so they are considered as homophones. The same pronunciation, different meaning, different spelling. Okay, so option D, we have good. Okay, the short U sound, good. So the best answer to this question is definitely option A, boy. Question 66. So choose the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letters on the line. Now the word is money, and letter O is underlined and it is pronounced as ah. Okay, so I want you to observe these three sounds: ah, ah, ah. Let's do it again: ah, ah, ah. So most times people get confused with this sound, so I want you to be familiar with it and know the difference. So let's try it one more time: ah, ah, ah. Okay, so we are looking for ah. Okay, so the answer to this question is option A, because letter O in Monday is also pronounced as ah. Okay, so the answer to this question is Monday. Now I want you to note that option A has two standard pronunciation: Monday and Monday. Okay, Monday. Okay, and the reason why I want you to note this is because I've seen a JAMB question where the given word is E sound, right? And then the only option that I could choose as the best answer was Monday. So the reason I'm saying this is there are some questions that you have to apply critical thinking. You have to be logical, okay? For example, right, the given word has A sound, the diphthong A, and you have to look for A. And then option A, you have rain, it has A sound, right? Option B, you now have Monday. Option C, maybe you have go. Option D, maybe you have toe, right? So the answer is between option A and B. What is the answer to the question? Which will be the best answer? Definitely option A, right? Because automatically we will pronounce Monday as Monday. Do you understand? So you need to apply critical thinking to some questions, okay? So the answer to this question is option A. So option B, go, it has a diphthong O. Option C, mouth, it has a diphthong ow. Option D, rock, it has a vowel sound, a short vowel sound o, right? So the answer to this question is definitely option A, Monday or Monday. Question 67. So choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letters on the line. So this is consonant sound. Let's go into the background. Okay, so we have 21 consonant letters, but then we have 24 consonant sounds. So you can see that the difference is not much. 21 consonant letters, 24 consonant sounds. And that's why they say it's so much easier to learn consonant sound compared to vowel sounds, because the difference is not much compared to the consonant letters. Another reason why it's easier is because the graphical representation of consonant sounds are similar to the letters, like b, it is, right? P, it is. So the graphic representation, the symbols, right, are similar to the letters. So it's quite easier compared to vowel sounds, where we have 20 vowel sounds, then we have 5 vowel letters, right? And then the vowel sounds have weird shapes, upside down E, upside down V, C that looks like this, just makes it a lot more difficult to study, right? So The word here is uncle, and we have N and C on the line. Now, N is pronounced as ng, that's a consonant sound, and C is pronounced as k, that's also a consonant sound, and they are together. Now, there's what we call consonant clusters. Now, consonant cluster is a combination of two or more consonant sound at a stretch in a word. And as you can see here in this word, we have ng and k together. That's a consonant cluster. Okay, so the reason for a consonant cluster is this theory was developed as a result of the second language learners of English, that is you and I, sometimes find it difficult to, produce the sound, the consonant clusters, right? For example, pronounce TESTS, STS at the end, right? Test. Pretty much easy, right? Okay, so pronounce MASKS, SKS, three clusters, three consonant clusters, right? Good luck with that. Masks, right? So it is quite difficult, right? And so phoneticians decided to study it and to just give us a concept of what consonant clusters is and how we can pay attention to these consonant sounds. Okay, so let's go into the question. Option A, bring, right? Ng is pronounced as ng, right? But it's not the answer because we are looking for ng and k together, right? Same with option B, ng is ng, okay? Same with option C, ng is ng, okay? The answer to this question is option D because N is ng and K is k. So option D is the final answer to this question. So we have uncle and ink. Question 68. So choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letters on the line. The word is bet. Okay, so letter B is on the line and it's a consonant sound B. Okay, so option A we have pap. Okay, option B we have det. Okay, so the word is det. Letter B is silent. Okay, it is det. Okay, option C we have tomb. Okay, B is also silent in the word tomb, right? The vowel sound O is the long one, tomb. Okay, so option D we have lab. So letter B in the word lab is B. So the answer to this question is definitely option D. Question 69. So choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letters on the line. The word is river. Letter R is underlined, the first R, and it is pronounced as R. Okay, river. Okay, so option A we have fear. Okay, EAR in fear is pronounced as ear. It's a diphthong. Okay, option B we have car. AR in car is pronounced as R sound. It's a long vowel sound. Okay, option C we have risk. Okay, R in risk is so that's what we are looking for, so that's the answer to this question. Option D we have liter. Okay, so for option D, RE in liter is the schwa sound. Okay, so that's not the answer to this question. So for American English we can have liter, fear, having the sound, but for British English it is not there. The sound is not there. So the answer to this question is definitely option C, risk. Option 70. Choose the option that best completes the sentence. The dash of armed robbery has been on the increase. Okay, so when you take a look at this question, it starts with the, right? So we know that we need a noun to fill in the gap, but then all the options are noun. Okay, so which is the best answer? So let's start with option A. Incident is used to refer to a single event. A single event. For example, there was an incident at the bank yesterday. An incident. Okay. Option B we have accident. Accident is an unintentional event that causes or leads to injury and damages. She broke her leg in a car accident. Okay. Option C we have incidents. Incidents is used to refer to the frequency of something or the occurrence of something. So a number of cases over time. And that's the answer to this question, right? Because from the question we see has been on the increase. So something has been happening. Something has been happening often, right? So that's the answer to this question. Option C, accidents. So when we say accident, is a grammatical term that is used to mean the way words change, to show things, to show number, to show cases. It is also called inflection. So accident is an old terminology used to mean inflection, right? So what we know right now is inflection. And what does this mean? For example, walk, walked. What change? Tense. So walk is present tense, walked is past tense. Another example, baby, babies. What changed? Number. One is singular, one baby, right? The other is plural, babies, more than one baby, right? Another example, he and him, right? What change? Case. One is subject, the other is object. Him is object, right? So the answer to this question is definitely option C, incidents. 41. Okay, so she hurried off dash and came back. Okay, so the answer to this question is option C, fast. Okay, because the word fastly is incorrect. It's not a standard word in English language. Okay, we can see option B as fastly. The word fastly is still used, so it's not correct. Very fastly is not correct. Okay, we can say very fast, right? Not very fastly. So rather than say fastly, we can say quickly. Okay, quickly is a better word. Okay, it's a standard word in English language, but fastly is not. So option C is the final answer to this question. She hurried off fast and came back. Question 72. Okay, so choose the option that best completes the sentence. Justina used to be the best behaved girl. Okay, so this question is related to tag question. So you are meant to complete the statement with a tag question. So when you are solving tag question, two things are important: the subject and the verb. So for the subject, you have to change it to its pronoun form if the statement does not have it as a pronoun, right? So for this one, we would change Justina to she. So the modal verb used to be here is positive. So when you have a positive verb, you change it to a negative one in the tag question. When you have a negative verb, you change it to a positive one in the tag question. So here we have used to be. It's a modal verb and it means a past habitual action. It is positive. So whatever our tag will be must be a negative auxiliary verb. Okay. So it is a past habitual action and it means that in the past she was the best behaved, but it no longer exists. So in English, the standard is whenever a sentence uses used to, right? The tag must be formed using did. Okay, so the answer to this question is didn't she. So no matter how natural and correct was she sounds, right, it is not the answer. You can use it in your informal speech, in your conversation with your friends, right? But the standard is didn't she. Okay, because didn't she aligns with the grammatical rules for used to. Okay, so the best answer to this question is definitely option D, didn't she. Question 73. So choose the option that best completes the sentence. It was the dash of brakes that drew our attention. Now, option A, hooting is attributed or associated with car horns. Okay. Blurring is associated with sirens or car alarm. They are sounds. Okay. Scrunching is associated with brakes, that high pitched piercing sound, right? Hammering is associated with, construction and carpentry. Okay, it's a loud noise. So the answer to this question is screeching because we can see brakes, right, used in the question. So the best answer to this question is option C. Question 74. So everyone knew the woman's dash before his phone went off. Okay, so the answer to this question is option B, itinerary, right? Itinerary. It is pronounced itinerary, not itinerary. Okay, so the answer to this question is definitely option B. Other options are misspellings. And what do we mean by itinerary? It's a plan, so it fits in the context of travel or journey. Okay, so we say a plan of a journey. Okay, so the best answer is definitely option B. Question 75. So choose the option that rhymes with the given word. Now the word is hurt, right? So when solving rhyme questions, two things are important: sounds, not letters. Okay, sounds, and then you have to start with the last sound, not the first sound, not the middle sound. Okay, you start with the last sound and you work your way to the first sound. Okay, so the last sound in the given word is t, followed by okay, so let's go to the options. So with the last sound, we can tick option A and tick option D, right? So we let option B and C go. Then we have to go to the second to the last sound in the given word, which is So we can see that option A has O sound, while option D has the sound. So shirt is the answer to this question. Option D is the final answer to this question. Question 76. Okay, so choose the option that rhymes with the given word. So when we're looking at rhyme questions, we look at sounds, okay, not letters. So questions like this are the reason I would always transcribe, so that you can have evidence why we are choosing a particular option as the final answer. Okay, so if you follow letters, you'll be quick to fail this question. Okay, so you look at sound and you start with the last sound. So this given word is taciturn, right? The last sound is n followed by then we have t. Now let's go to the option. We see option A ends with n, so we are good to go. Option B, n, we're good to go. Option C, we have d, so we let it go. Option D, we have burn, n, we're good to go. So you go to the second to the last sound. We have So what you have in option A is not what we have there is ah. Okay, so we let it go. Okay, so you go to option B. What we have is the long vowel sound ah. Okay, option C, we have n sound, right, which is the second to the last, right? And then we have ow, okay, around. Then option D, we have the sound. So the answer to this question is definitely option D. Okay, option D is the final answer to this question. Question 77. So in each of the following question, the word in capital letter has the emphatic stress. Choose the option to which the given word relates. So this question is based on emphatic stress, right? And the question is, if rain was noted for peace, the emphasized word is peace. So when you want to solve emphatic stress question, all you need to do is go to your option, right? Go to the options and look for the option that has a word that replaces the emphasized word. So you are substituting it with something else, okay? So the answer to this question is option A, is rain noted for wealth. So we see option B, C, and D still retains the word peace. So we are going to go for option A as the final answer. So this is showing contrast with the emphasized word. Was his rain noted for wealth? No, his rain was noted for peace. Okay, so peace is the emphasized word. So the best answer to this question is option A. Question 78. So this is also related to emphatic stress. Okay, so the emphasized word is bread. So all you need to do is go to the option and look for a word that replaces the emphasized word. Okay, so we can see that option D is the final answer, because instead of bread, what we see there is cake. Did Bala eat a slice of cake? No, Bala ate a slice of bread. Okay, so we can see the contrast between cake and bread, whereas the emphasized word is bread. The most significant word is bread. Okay, so the best answer to this question is option D. Question 79. So still under emphatic stress, the question is, the architect did the design. So the emphasized word is design. So what you do is you go to the option and check for a word that replaces design, right? And that will be the answer to this question. So the answer to this question is definitely option D. All right, did the architect do the draft? Right, so instead of design, we have drafts. As you can see, option A, B, and C uses the word design. Okay, so it doesn't matter if other words are changed or substituted. Okay, the main focus or the main word in this sentence is design. So just look for an option that replaces the design, right, with another word. Okay, that will show the contrast that we're trying to achieve. Okay, so did the architect do the draft? No, the architect did the design. So option D is the final answer to this question. Stress. So my only son speaks like an orator. Okay, so the answer to this question is definitely option B, right? Why is it option B? Because the word son is emphasized in the question, right? And so we are looking for a word that replaces it, something else that can stand as a substitute, and that way it will show contrast, right? So we have, does my only daughter. So with daughter, we can see the contrast is different from the word son, right? So does my only daughter speaks like an orator, right? And the answer is no, my only son speaks like an orator. So the best answer to this question is definitely option B. 81. Okay, so this question is still under emphatic stress. Okay, so the emphasized word in this sentence is product. Now product is something made or manufactured. Okay, so when we want to solve emphatic stress questions, we go to the options and select the option that has a different word, a word that shows contrast. Okay, a word that replaces the emphasized word, and that is in option D. All right, you see produce. Now produce is a noun that means fresh fruit or fresh vegetables. It also can serve as a verb, produce, that means to create or to make, but in this case it's serving as a noun, right? So it's different from product. Okay, so the best answer to this question is option D. So the question is, was the produce rejected as fake? No, the product was rejected as fake. So the best answer is definitely option D. Question 82. So choose the most appropriate stress pattern from the options. The stress syllables are written in capital letters. Now this question is based on word stress, and word stress is a challenging topic. Why? Because stress can fall on any syllable. Okay, and because it is unpredictable, learners are advised to learn individual words, learn the stress pattern on individual words. So there's a lot of practice in your speaking and listening skills that you need to do. Okay, you need to practice a lot and you need to learn individual words. This is the safest rule. There are word stress rules, they have exceptions. There is the humming pattern, right? And the humming pattern will fail you if you do not know the actual pronunciation of the word itself, right? There is the root word pattern, which is not 100% accurate in itself, but then I'll be using the rules, the humming pattern, I'll be using the root word pattern just to make it easier and faster for you to learn, because we are solving for example purpose, right? Okay, so let's start with the first one, informative, right? So the word is pronounced informative, that is the correct pronunciation. And if you hum so you can guess that the answer to this question or the syllable falls on the second syllable, right? When we consider the root word pattern, now the root word is in form. What are root words? Root words are the basic form of the word without the prefix and the suffix, right? So for informative, the root word is in form. The stress is on the second syllable, in form. Right? So tiv is a suffix that do not affect stress pattern. Okay, so the word is in form, the stress is on the second syllable, that's the root word. So when we have native, it does not affect the stress pattern, it does not affect the syllable that carries stress. So we have informative. So we have other examples like appreciate. When you have tiv, becomes appreciative, same stress pattern. When we have investigate and you have the tiv, right, iv, it becomes investigative. Cooperate, cooperative, right, the same stress pattern. There are other suffix that do not, affect the stress pattern, like ness, less, ly, hood, right, and so on and so forth. So the answer to this question is definitely option A, informative. Question 83. So choose the appropriate stress pattern from the options. The stress syllables are written in capital letters. Now the word is embodiment. Okay, so the word is gotten from embody. Embody is the root word and it is stressed on the second syllable bo, right? So ment is a suffix that do not change the stress pattern of a word, just like less, ness, ive, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it does not change the stress pattern. So we have embody, we have embodiment. Okay, so we have other examples. We have enjoy, right? Enjoy is the root word. When we have enjoyment, it's still the same stress pattern. Okay, so the best answer to this question is definitely option B. 84. So choose the appropriate stress pattern from the options. The stress syllables are written in capital letter. The word is declamation. Okay, so declamation is stressed on may, so that is the syllable before tion. Okay, so that makes option C the final answer to this question. Now declamation is gotten from the word declaim, and declaim is stressed on the second syllable. Now because it is stressed on the second syllable does not mean that declamation should be stressed on the second syllable as well. So if you do that, you will miss it, right? So this means that words ending with tion, sion do affect stress. So these suffixes affect stress. Okay, so you cannot rely on the root word to determine the stress of a word ending with these suffixes. Okay, so the best answer to this question is definitely option C. Question 85. So still under word stress, the word is immunity, and immunity has a stress on the second syllable. So the word is gotten from immune. Okay, so immune is stressed on the second syllable, and so we see that ity in this word immunity does not affect the stress. Okay, so that makes option A the best answer to this question. Question 86. Okay, so we are still under word stress and the word is radioactive. Okay, so when you hum, you see that the stress is on arc. Okay, okay, so the answer to this question is definitely option C, radioactive. Now this word would not fit into the rules or the root word pattern. There's this rule that says compound words are stressed on the first syllable. To start with, this is not even a compound word, right? Because compound words are a combination of two standalone words, words that can stand alone. And here you have radio from the word radiation. Okay, so radioactive is basically giving off radiation. Okay, so it's a root word on its own, radioactive. So when we have something like radioactively, okay, yes, we can now say ly is the suffix and it still retains the stress pattern. The stress pattern will still fall on arc with radioactively. Okay, so I'm saying this so that you know that the safest way of learning word stress is to learn the words individually. So So you have to be open to, learning the stress pattern of words that you discover daily, right? Be interested in knowing where the stress would fall. Do you understand? So that is basically the safest. But for exam purpose, for UTME purpose, please, you should learn the patterns, especially the root word pattern. The basis of the root word technique or pattern is that once you know the root word and you know where the stress fall on the root word, it is easier for you to know where the stress pattern will be, regardless of the suffixes or the prefixes. Some scholars have even gone so far to divide it or categorize it into two. They've listed the prefixes and the suffixes that, do not affect stress, and the ones that do affect stress. And even that in itself is faulty, right? Now, I'm going to give you an example, right? So some of the research I have made, right, suggests that IC, word ending with IC, or suffixes like IC, TION, SION, ITY, IFY, ISM, graphy, EER, and so on and so forth, like that, right, always affect the stress pattern of the root word, right? And that is not entirely true, right? It's not 100%. For example, ITY, this word immunity, the root word is immune. It is stressed on the second syllable. When we have immunity, right, it is still stressed on the second syllable, whereas it was stated that it would affect the placement of the stress. But a word like flexibility, right, the root word is flexible, right, and it's stressed on the first syllable. Flexible. When you have the et after it, the stress falls on B, right, flexibility. That would conform to the rule that ITY would affect the placement of the stress for root words, right? So it is not 100%. When I teach you rules or I teach you the root word pattern, you might easily look for 1,000 words to, counter that, right? It will be easy for you to make such contribution in the comment section, right? But it is also okay to learn them, right? It is fast and it will aid quick, learning. Please note again there are exceptions. So the answer to this question is definitely option C, radioactive. So finally, guys, we've concluded today's tutorial and I'm sure you've learned so much. Thank you for staying tuned. Do not forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Also do well to subscribe and share with your friends. Okay, so thank you for staying tuned once again till see you in my next video. Bye.